Thank you so much, John. Our next speakers are Perrie, McMillen, and her daughter, Leah.
Hi everybody, I'm Leah, and Cheryl was my godmother. And whenever I think of Cheryl, I always think of the sun. Wherever she went, there was this powerful, warm, bright energy. And any room that she went into, that energy just filled up the room. And just like the sun helps flowers bloom into beautiful, colorful plants, Cheryl helped people bloom into the best version of themselves. One of my favorite things about Cheryl, besides her ability to always color coordinate her shirts with her pants, she was quite the fashion icon, was just this non-judgmental space that she always held around her. She accepted everyone and anyone for who they were. And I remember last summer, she would come over and we would sit on my back porch. And for hours, we would talk about, I don't even know, the universe, what the meaning of life was, nature, and I could just ask her anything, any question, and she, whether or not she had an answer, that was a different story, but, there was never a glimpse of judgment. She just was such a safe person. And I'm so honored to have been one of the people that was able to soak up some of Cheryl's sunshine. So, and Cheryl, going back to what John said about the Lady Moon, Cheryl was my first employer. I was her little, usher for those things, and I would greet people and tell them where to go. I made $15, so yes, she was my first employer. But yes, so she was just such an incredible person, and look at all these flowers that she helped bloom. So, let's just make today about honoring our teacher, our friend, our beloved Cheryl. So thank you so much.
Okay, I have to wear my glasses. So I met Cheryl walking down the sidewalk on Shealy Drive in Fort Collins. It's a neighborhood that I had just moved into in 1989. At the time, I had a 2.5-year-old who was sitting at the table over there. And louder and closer. Hang on a sec. Adjust. Can you hear me now? Okay. So at the time, I had a 2.5-year-old who was sitting at the table over there and one on the way. And I quickly discovered Cheryl had a preschool just down the street on Shealy Drive. Within a matter of a few weeks and a few meetings, Cheryl had opened the doors to many new opportunities for me. A home-like developmental preschool where my child could feel safe and whole while learning. A meditation practice that I really knew nothing about that she introduced me to. Recommendations on nutrition, child raising that I have found invaluable ever since. Because I met Cheryl, my world opened up, my world expanded and filled with the light of knowledge and awareness, just as I was beginning to raise my family. In getting to know Cheryl, I discovered a woman with almost unbelievable experience, education, and knowledge. She was this short, bubbly, cheerful woman with a friendly smile and no pretense whatsoever. Not at all a person who acted like she had a couple master's degrees, published books, a PhD in consciousness, a PhD in nutrition. I mean, who does that, really? Soon after that, I started Transcendental Meditation with Cheryl as my teacher and mentor. And since then, meditation has been my ground, a practice that centers my life, and I can't imagine what my life would be without it. Cheryl also introduced me to nutrition as an alternative for working with health issues and sharing knowledge from a wealth of education and knowledge with anyone who asks. This guidance has helped me make wise and healthier choices while I've been raising my children, for myself and my children. Cheryl was a wholly conscious teacher of young children, bringing into their experience silence for their minds, healthy play, healthy conflict, educational kinesiology, good food and nutrition, and an approach that let each child know that they were worthy in and of themselves. Cheryl authored the book, Growing Up Inside Out, and I just want to make sure everybody knows it's over there on the table, and John brought extra copies, and it's a gift from her to everyone. I would encourage anyone who's a parent or a grandparent to pick up one of those books. And she used this knowledge that she put in writing there in direct application in her preschool. The children who attended this school are, in my opinion, the most fortunate children because they experienced wholeness, complete acceptance of who they were in that moment, and a healthy path forward. All of my children have very positive memories of attending Small World Preschool. At the same time, Cheryl educated and coached the parents for their own health and well-being and to help the child further on the path. I'm so fortunate that 4 of my 6 children were able to attend Cheryl's school. And as John said, we stay in touch, and that table right there has all 6 of them and 4 of them that attended the preschool. As Cheryl and I became friends and I became more involved in transcendental meditation, I learned about her incredible life as a TM teacher, where she traveled around the world as a young woman teaching transcendental meditation in many different countries. She shared her experiences with me, her experiences traveling and teaching, and her experiences in consciousness. Because of her higher level of consciousness, she was able to relate to and appreciate everyone with whom she came into contact. Because of her open heart and her open mind, she was willing to reach out to anyone in need and offer assistance. And I think you heard a lot of those stories from John. It was like she didn't have that veil of judgment that said this person doesn't deserve, my help, or this person won't follow through. She was just open-hearted and open-minded in that respect, and always wanting and willing to give everyone a chance. And part of it was just her wanting to make sure that people knew that they were seen. I see you. I acknowledge you as a fellow human being. Cheryl's generosity knew no bounds. She was always ready to help with an effort to make life better for others, including animals. She had seemingly boundless energy to start new projects. And I think you heard some of that from John again. She always had 1, 2, 3, 4, a half dozen projects going on. And she was always open to connecting people with like minds to help out with projects and to start new things together. If there was a local effort to help people in need, to grow consciousness in part of the community, or to protect against bias and discrimination of others, be assured that Cheryl would be part of it. You can see a list of the groups that she was involved in on the back of the obituary at your tables, like we put one of those lavender colored sheets. And I know that list is not complete either, but you can get a sense of the different things that she was involved in. As Leah mentioned, Cheryl is a godmother to many of my children. Cheryl helped me through many different difficult periods in my life, and she stayed connected and available to my children as well. Several of my children have learned transcendental meditation from Cheryl, and they've all benefited from her nutritional advice. She helped one of my sons when he was in a particularly dark time in his life by connecting with him, reminding him of his meditation benefits, and offering to be there for him. She stayed in touch with him when he had lost touch with everyone else, including himself. She supported my family when we faced a really difficult time around medical issues with our youngest when she was born. She sponsored a fundraiser and raised funds to help us with medical bills. It truly saved us. And I know we're not the only ones. So that things like what John mentioned, the way that they used their home, the place for peace, the way it was used, well, we were one of the beneficiary families. I mean, my baby shower for Leah was held there. The fundraising that they did for us to help with medical issues and bills was held at the Place for Peace. And, you know, I was involved in many different support groups and things that went on at the Place for Peace. I have such fond memories every time I drive by that place. When I go down Mulberry Street, I remember the different things that were held there and what a gift it was to our community. Cheryl was fearless, never afraid to try something new, never afraid to test boundaries, to challenge an opinion or deeply entrenched thought, to jumpstart a new project. She never worried about what others thought about her. In fact, I honestly don't think what others thought even occurred to her. I'm in awe of what Cheryl was willing to do and try in her lifetime. No one really knew Cheryl. We all knew parts of her, the parts with which we interacted. I believe that Cheryl was unknowable. She lived and thought on a different plane than most of the rest of us. She could see further, feel and appreciate more deeply, and her awareness was cosmic, beyond that of most of us. That is why I believe she had boundless energy. It's why she could accept anyone, anywhere. It's why her generosity knew no limits. She had no limits. She was an open-minded, heart-centered woman, grounded in blissful awareness. She was a gift to everyone who knew her, and a gift to our community and to our world. And I wanted to share one thing, just memory of the last time, one of the last couple times that Cheryl and I spoke. And I believe she knew she was dying. And she told me, she said, I am keeping my focus on gratitude. I am so grateful for the life that I have lived. I am so grateful for all the people who have been part of my life. In fact, I am going to simply experience this time in my life as a woman of leisure with all these people waiting on me. She was in a hospital bed, you know. She said, during COVID, right? And she said, well, I am just a woman of leisure with people waiting on me, and so that I can focus on gratitude of my life. Cheryl was my closest and dearest friend and mentor, and I loved her so.
I'm Martha Maxwell with Joey Waltz, and just as a refresher, I'd like everybody who is related to Cheryl in any way to stand. Thank you all for coming. I knew most of you as children, and walking up to you and seeing adults is really frightening. I'm the oldest living person from the group of 8, and so the stairs are treacherous and so forth. I'm not a public speaker by any means. Can everyone hear me? Okay, good. We have to get close to the microphone. So I've written this because I know myself, although I start off with a lot of courage, I don't always end up in that same place. And Cheryl and her death was just such a big shock to me. And I don't know why. It's just I'm so much older than she. It never occurred to me that I would be here today, speaking of her and still be walking around. So Cheryl was my best friend for 40 years. She was arms open, blue-eyed, clear, fun-framed, and peace-loving. I never had a conflict with Cheryl. Never in our 40-year relationship. That's unusual. Cheryl was an uplifting advisor and honoring and celebrating every moment of her life. I never went without a May basket, Easter bunny chocolates, or a terrific birthday celebration. One of those celebrations was being picked up in a limousine, driven to Estes Park, and having dinner with the Gang of 8 at the Podium. If you haven't done that or found that place, you need to work at that. It's really a fun place to go. Cheryl never forgot. She didn't forget events, she didn't forget people, she didn't forget anything. And she never forgot any of you who are here that were related to her. She loved you dearly. And her energy was tireless. Her interest in others was colossal, especially with children. Her commitment to improving physical, mental, and spiritual health never wavered. She even worked on me, and that was remarkable. She's the only person I have ever known who could learn a new concept in a room, in a teaching situation, and turn right around and apply it in life. She was just remarkable. I'm going to miss her every day of my life, Johnny, just like you. And I celebrate her new life in light and love. Thank you.
Hi, I hope you can all hear me. The reading that I'm about to do, to me, really is all about Cheryl. You will also find it in your program. It reads, "Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there, I did not die." Thank you.